friend. Sorry it's so late, but I had time to digest the Super Tuesday turnout, and I know that we are in Shelby and Dr. Sheffield in a runoff for HD 59. Now, excuse my voice, I've been talking a lot, but you know, I remember many years ago when Sheffield and Miller were in a runoff, and I remember very distinctively Sid Miller calling me to his office. There wasn't a hat, there wasn't fanfare, it was just me and him, and he looked at me straight in the eyes and he said, "What are my chances?" And at that moment, I could see by his demeanor that he really wanted that job. He really wanted to be elected to a final term. And I looked at him. I said, "Sir," I said, "you've made teachers angry." And I said, "I'm afraid you're going to be defeated." And, you know, I was just a mere 23, 24 years old, you know, and Sid Miller my entire life had been this larger than life, you know, cowboy hat wearing, you know, perfect smile. But that moment in his office, he had a level of humility, a level of not desperation, but you could tell that it wasn't an act because he truly cared. And when Sid Miller was in office, his doors were always open. You could always get to him one way or another. With that being said, he went on to lose the runoff, but he went on to bigger and better things. So, but I will admit that, you know, we were on opposite sides for a while, but, you know, I expressed to him that the teacher vote matters across Texas. Remember Mark White, the teacher vote matters. Why is that? Teachers vote, but also, like several teachers I know, they work day in and day out over the hours that they are supposed to ensure that every kid in their class has an A+ education. If the budget doesn't call for it, they pay for it out of their own pockets. They don't expect to be paid back, but I digress. So, when it comes to public education, as someone who watched and still watches his mother on a daily basis work so hard and do such a fabulous job at teaching the young minds of Texas, I'm sorry, but, and this isn't, you know, not a liberal, not a socialist, this is me, a son, talking. Because if my mother got paid hourly, I wouldn't have to work for the rest of my life. She'd be a self-made millionaire. But she did it because she cares, just like every public educator in the state of Texas. She cares. So why is it so vital that we elect somebody that is not funded or supported by Empower Texans? Why is that important? I'll tell you why it's important to me. Because my mother has not taught for 38 plus years and not worked her rear end off for nothing, wanting nothing in return, no glory, no fame, nothing, using her own money. And each year she teaches, she sees her budget shrink and shrink and shrink, and yet, you know, somehow she manages to get by. And, you know, I'll never forget, Comanche is a very lucky district, very lucky. But with that being said, why could I sit by and allow somebody to go to Austin knowing that they are supported by a group that does not care about the kids of our state, but also does not care about the work that my mother has done for over 3.5 decades for the kids of our state? How can I support somebody that takes money from that and funding from that, knowing that they want to take the money from public education to line the pockets probably of those private schools that are owned by their buddies? Don Buckingham, a classic example. As a senator, she has failed her district. Yes, she's a Republican. Hope she's not reelected because she is harder to get to than Elton John concert right now. I mean, the only reason I got to her is because I saw her when I was rallying for the public education, and I saw her across the Capitol lawn, and at the risk of being shot or maced, I ran up and pulled an and said, "Oh my gosh, it's you! You're doing so great!" No, you're not. You're doing an awful job, and you've got to be replaced. She go in, as a picture, and we look like two deer in the headlights, but these are our representatives. And I'm sorry, Shelby, if I upset you. Call me a socialist. Call me a liberal. Call me whatever you want. But this is personal to me. Because you said that you would be a pistol-packing mama that would go to Austin and change things. Yet you are taking money and support and endorsements from people that you are claiming you would fight, yet you're already in bed with them. So you've already become one of them. So how can I sit by idly and allow you to go to Austin to try and undo the work of not only my mother, but teachers across the state? How can I sit by idly and allow you, who have already been supported, supported, the flyers go on your behalf, in your favor? But those people are anti-public education, Shelby, and I don't care how many flyers or pledges you take. You are not fighting for public education if you are taking money from Empower Texans or Texans for Fiscal Responsibility. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. I call bullcrap. So, this is my challenge. That resolution I sent you, I want to pledge, Shelby. I want to pledge that you will put it on the floor of the Texas House of Representatives on the first day that you're allowed to submit them without changing it. But also, I want to know that you will not only not change it, but you will fight actually in writing, letter in writing, denouncing public Texans for fiscal responsibility and Empower Texans, and you will say thank you, but no thank you, because if I'm going to be elected, I will do it on my own merit. I will do it myself, and until you change your ways, I'm going to stand up for the people of HD 59. That does not mean taking money from Empower Texans and so we can fill your campaign coffers so you can do their bidding. No, Shelby, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this right. I believe you can. I believe you have it in you. You tell them, you know what? I think I can do it on my own, but thank you very much for the offer. Put that resolution on the floor of the House. Pledge to do it. Unchanged. Just like I wrote it and Sid Miller looked over it. A bipartisan effort to protect the teacher retirement service, to protect public education funding, to restore funding, and for once and all, hopefully, tie the hands of the Senate, the Lieutenant Governor, and the Governor from taking any more money from education. Do that. Do those two things. I challenge you. I mean, I know the politically safe thing is to not have a response or, just not pay any attention to it. But Shelby, I really do believe you can do it. I know you can. If you claim to be that pistol packing mama, send them packing, Shelby. Define your legacy on your own. You don't need them. All you need is God and the support of HD 59. But with that being said, Sheffield read my resolution. I don't know if you did or not, but of course, being represented by Empower Texans, that would hurt your cause. And, this is Freeman Ellers bringing this up. Build a wall. Now, I'm not saying we don't need a wall, but a secure border with a wall that does not get blown over by a gust of wind, that would be nice. Okay. ACOE, Pelosi, Omar's socialist agenda is not welcome in Texas. No, it is not, Shelby. But with that being said, not all Democrats are socialists. I happen to be a moderate, but I vote in the middle, because right now, I voted Democrat, yes, but in Texas, you have to learn to work with both sides. And so you classifying AOC and, putting 3 people and defining an entire party. Most of us are voting Democratic because we cannot find our place in the Republican Party because it's going so far right. I just can't support it. I don't like Bernie either. But I'm not a socialist. So again, before you classify us all as socialists, yeah. Our rural public schools support teachers, more resources to classrooms, increase vocational training. You want to support teachers again? 1, tell Empower Texans in writing. And Texas fiscal responsibility, You don't need their support because you have God on your side and you have the teachers of HD 59. And I want to pledge that resolution will go to the Texas House of Representatives unchanged, written as is, because I will be sending the copy to every single member of the House of Texas. So I'm giving you first shot. Pledge. Unchanged. That's what you can do to show us. Sanctity of life. Life is a gift from God, Shelby. It should be protected. I was adopted. I could have been aborted. But Dr. Sheffield is a medical licensed physician. There are some times, Shelby, when abortion is medically necessary. And yes, I understand that, yes, women have miscarriages, but if the fetus is dead and the body cannot expel that fetus, that's a procedure medically that has to be done so the woman's body can begin to heal and she can have, try again for another child. Shelby, I'm pro-choice, yes, for one reason. I'm a Christian. But God did not leave me on this earth to judge another human being, and he did not give me the authority. As it says, judge lest ye be judged, but it also says, it also says to love one another. And I love my fellow men, women, Democrat, Republican, but also I cannot tell a woman, because I don't know. God didn't put me in charge. He didn't leave me with instructions. Maybe it did you. He did not me. What she should do with her body was not put in that seat of judgment. I can just pray that the right decision is made and the woman's at peace with it. That's all I can do. But I don't take abortion lightly. Neither does Dr. Sheffield, but as a liberal, whatever you want to call me, there are some circumstances where, it could kill the mother, but the fetus is already dead. So, if you're willing, again, I'm not a doctor, but I do not believe in after the fact contraceptive methods, With that being said, I do believe that life should be protected. All life. Black, white, gay, straight, lesbian, transgender, whatever. All life should be protected. I agree with that. Second Amendment, I don't want your guns. I don't want your guns. 16 years ago, I shot a gun once. I was one hell of a shot. Probably could put you to shame. They call me Dead-Eye Dick. 200 yards away in an empty pond, I hit a can of Tanzanite with a pistol. Dead-eye. That was 15, 20 years ago. I don't have a gun. I don't want a gun. I don't need a gun. But with that being said, I don't care if people have guns. Just make sure the right people have them, the wrong people have them. Eventually, somebody that's a bad person will get a gun. But with that being said,